Call the meeting to order at 7:03. We'll do a roll call. Jack. Here.
Colleen's here.
Colleen. Ken.
Aye.
John. Here.
Paul, aye.
Justin.
Present.
And Sandy.
Present.
Okay. Kristen is unable to attend. She had a work conflict. And as the next item on the agenda, Craig has resigned and sent his letter to the Board of Selectmen and with regret that he was unable to, at this time, complete his term, and wishes us well. And I, wished him well. And if he ever has the time and the ability to reapply, we would certainly welcome him back on the committee if there's a vacancy. And also on the resignation, I'll let Beth speak.
No, I don't want
So congratulations
So
to
she
Beth.
changed her mind, it sounds like.
I don't know, full-time, part-time, full-time. Beth was offered a position in the treasurer collector's office. It's full-time, and the town policy is she's part-time now in the Board of Health. But if you are full-time, even if you don't exceed 40 hours a week, the policy is full-time means one job and that's it. So she cannot work for us as the admin beyond December 15th. She starts on the 16th. So want to congratulate her, welcome her to the
Congrats.
office, and wish her well, but also
It's not going
let you
far.
know that we will miss you and all that we appreciate
It's
all
a good thing.
that you've done for the last almost 2 years.
Carpe diem.
So, and that leads us to Ken.
Can you give me a minute? I'm just trying to connect to this meeting,
Okay.
and had to.
log off.
I had to update Zoom. It wouldn't do it.
Oh yeah, I had to do that the other
So-
day too. It's a pain in the butt.
Okay, here we
So
go.
on the topic of Beth, are we going to be instigating a immediate
I-
search for
I
a
sent
replacement?
an email to William this morning, and
So I'm trying to join this meeting. Is there someone who can let me in?
that's
Oh, here we are. Thank
are
you.
in?
I'm in.
To William, indicating that we knew Beth would
Beth
be leaving, and
and
we've got some feedback.
Yeah, just turn off your speaker.
I think you're good now.
To let me know the process, do we have to wait for her actual resignation date to occur to then apply to advertise? And
I wouldn't think there'd be any
I'm
restriction
not
like
real
that.
sure how that works. So
I
I
think
think
that,
that's like, oh geez.
like when with Craig's resignation, right? The select board just accepted it on Tuesday, which now we can post to the opening. I imagine it's
Right.
very similar to that, where we have to the select board has to accept her resignation and then
Right.
we can post for it.
So I guess that
So I have to.
you have to send us a letter
Okay.
that I guess also then gets sent to William and
Okay.
and Evan, that so that they can then do the paperwork processing, whatever, for the transition from part-time to full-time. So anything else on that?
No.
Okay,
Oh, that's good.
Ken?
Okay,
go ahead.
can I be enabled for sharing?
Boy, you're asking a lot this meeting, Mr.
I know.
Ken.
I don't know who's who's running the
Jack.
meeting, but I need to share.
Jack's got the
You can-
computer.
That side of the room.
Okay, good. There we go. Thank you. Okay. There's not much difference this month from last, where it was post-town meeting before we get close to the next one. The one thing that has happened is that we got notice from the Department of Revenue about the state match. And you might recall that we estimated a fairly low percentage, and then we got a notice from the DOR saying that it's even going to be even lower. And so we actually reduced our estimate by $22,000. If you look at line 45 on the report, you have the spot where we had reduced our estimate. So that reduction's now moot, so it's zeroed out. And our actual state match came in at, it's blocked on my screen, I can't see it,
21.1.
21.1%. So that came in higher than we had originally estimated, and certainly higher than we had reduced it. So that went up. So that's the only difference. So the amount of funds we have remaining for any grants is now up a little bit to $592,000, leaving fiscal 2025. Now, we can, next meeting, I'll make an estimate for what 2026 is going to look like, but I can make a few generalities right now. The revenue that came, if we look down to, this is the summary of 2025. So we had new revenue this year of, well, it's line 70 and 71. We had new revenue of just under $800,000. So we can assume that the revenue next year is going to be just over $800,000 by some amount. And that plus the bond payments, which this year were $135,000, next year they're going to be about the same. And so that's going to be about $670,000 or $770,000 probably increased more revenue. And so I'm estimating that next year we're going to go into it with about $1.25 million available for grants.
Excellent.
So we're doing fine, and we can make whatever grants that we see fit.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
It's kind of between line 36 and 44. I guess the numbers kind of jump there.
Yes.
You put the actual match over to the side. Is there a reason it's down there versus up in line 2 there?
I don't want to change what we did before, and so we continue in the upper part to have what what was in the town warrant, the original annual fiscal year budget for the CPA. So what I do is I leave everything that was there before because I don't want to just change it gratuitously. And in lines between lines 33 and 36, which are highlighted, there's a bunch of hidden lines, and that's where all the corrections are made,
Yeah.
the updates to the estimates.
Can
And
we
so-
maybe, going for next year, between line like 2 and 3, just have one for an actual, so when the actual does happen, they're close to each other, we just leave it blank and fill it in when it, just because it's easier than,
Well, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more that we correct that's scattered throughout, and I've always felt it was clearer, at least for me, to have all the corrections be in one place rather than scattered about. And you can see that right here, there are a bunch more corrections that will be made when the year closes. And I'm just sort of unhiding them right now. See, there's a whole bunch of, those are all the corrections to the estimates here.
yep.
And so they're all in one place.
Yeah, so like project closeouts, all that stuff, that doesn't need to be in there, but we know that there's gonna be an actual number and our estimate number, and I just think it'd be nice to have that close to each other. I'm not saying that we need to have everything out and open in there, I just think rather than having it halfway down the sheet, it would be clearer for me if they were closer to each other.
All right, I'll take a look at that and see what I can come up with. So anyway, I just showed you what's under the curtains there,
Yeah.
and we'll be more interested in that next July and August when
Right.
the time comes.
Even if you bumped that down and moved that up there, so then they're like near each other, you know what I'm saying?
I
If
see.
it has to be to the side.
Yeah. Okay. In any case, so the bottom line is that we have about $20,000 more than we thought we were going to have. Oh, we have actually $30,000 more than we thought we had in the state match. So that's good news. And we're going to get, we're going to get about $800, a little over $800,000 more or less the bond payments, so we're gonna have about $1.25 million.
How are
left
you
over.
getting 30,000 more in the state match? Because our estimate was 114 and the actual was 122. So that's
All right, I misspoke, but
Oh,
I
okay.
just did some arithmetic, because we had reduced it by $20,000 for a while.
yeah.
And then and then we increased it by, then we increased it, so anyway, it is what is shown here.
Okay.
If I misspoke, I misspoke.
Any other questions, comments, suggestions?
Well, there was like the available funds the last time in September was 63, and now we're at 592. So there was a significant shift, and it's not from just the state match. So where else were there bigger corrections?
I'm pretty sure.
Is it the turnbacks?
No, I'm pretty sure it was the only thing that,
Because that was a considerable turnback from the common project.
So that would be in the which bucket would that have come out of?
It should have gone in historic preservation. That would have gone in that
Okay.
back in that reserve.
Nope, those are the same.
it's higher because that $22,000 we had removed the $22,000 here, and that's the difference that you're seeing. We had taken this number, we had reduced it by that much, then we cut that out so it increased, and then we added that so it increased. So it increased by a little over $30,000, I think.
Oh, so it's that plus the state match. That's where we're getting the numbers to match.
Yes, that's
okay.
that's
Yep.
why you see more than you expected.
Okay, that makes
It's because
sense.
we reduced the we removed the reduction.
More is always good.
But what about
Agreed.
the turnback money? Does that show up in
That
here
won't
yet?
show up here until after June 30th next year.
So it'll ride the whole.
It'll increase.
Okay.
And we had a big bump the previous fiscal year because of that, and bigger than we usually have, so.
Okay.
So
Is that
will-
because
but
we
that
didn't
will
close it
increase
out?
it somewhat too.
Until after the close of the fiscal year, so it has to wait until the close of the next one.
Right, the fiscal 2023 is closed, or 2024 is closed, and this is 2025.
So it's got to wait until
And so
25
it has to
closes.
wait till next summer.
Got it. We tried to close it before 24 closed, but we just missed it.
So what we're gonna see when it closes is the revenue will have an increase because we always estimate low, plus the closeouts.
Okay. Thank you. Do we? Do you have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
So,
So moved.
So Jack had moved.
Second.
Colleen second. I think
Or
poor
Justin,
Justin,
one of the two.
hiding in a box. Like, it's all
trying.
right. Didn't see ya.
Sorry.
All those in favor, or any
roll call.
any further discussion? Nope. So roll call. Jack,
Yes.
Colleen,
Aye.
Ken,
Aye.
John, I,
Scarlet Eye.
Justin,
Aye.
and Sandy.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, the motion carried. Minutes. There were some minutes posted. I don't know if you guys have had. No,
What-
they didn't get.
I didn't post
Oh, okay,
because I was waiting for you
Oh.
to
okay.
approve.
That's on me. Sorry. So, next time.
Been waiting for you to approve them for a while, so I can put them on the thing.
Okay, so moving to the next item, town meeting discussion.
I had a question. So when are we going to be doing the contracts for the folks that were awarded?
The
They're done. Award letter.
the award letter.
The award
They-
letters, yeah.
You've done them. We haven't sent them out.
You have to assign people.
We have to assign people to the projects. So,
Yeah.
but I've been in touch with Ben Neely, who is working with the Boy Scouts for that project because they've already started spending money and working with them on that.
The bridges, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was reading that the state has trails committee money that they're giving out, but it's a reimbursement grant. So after the work is completed, if they apply for that grant, they could get money back and then the money could get turned back to us. Do we know if they're aware of that?
I'm not sure. I mean, I would doubt it because I think, this is the money that they realized that was available for this.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they
Is that something we could ask them
Should-
for them to shoot for?
Sure.
if you have like a link or
Oh,
information about
yeah,
it.
I'll get you that link for
Yeah,
sure.
and then
sure.
I can forward it to,
Yeah.
or I can forward you Ben's email if you want to just, if you
I
want
literally just saw
whatever.
today, I was reading the Beacon and
Yeah.
there was a whole article in there and I thought that
Because
was
I know
pretty
there's
cool.
a lot of state money, but I think you have to be sophisticated enough to I don't know how easily it is to find it. But I know
So
it's
the
like,
the
Yeah.
trails grants are very popular, but they're very achievable to get. So we've helped clients before get them. It's all about the timing. It's all about when you have to submit and getting a sense of what type of project they'll approve.
I feel like Sandy would be a great fit as
Yeah.
a representative for this project.
There you go. I'd just assume continue with the UUSGU since I had the last
okay,
project that they did. Unless somebody else really feels a need to step in.
so, hang on.
Lady eyes.
So Paul, is that okay with everyone that Paul does?
Yeah, sounds
The next
great.
phase for the Unitarian Church. How about the Congregational Church? Do we have a volunteer?
What-
They've been working with me on that
Yeah.
up until
You
now.
wanna-
Yeah, I don't mind doing it.
Okay,
It's fine.
so you'll do the churches. Okay, and the trails. Sandy's name was mentioned.
I don't hear her saying no.
I'm sorry, I was just looking at the agenda and stuff. Where are the trails that we're talking about?
These are at Hudson Missett Woods.
Okay.
They're building
just
two
a-
bridges.
This is what was approved at October town meeting,
Okay.
and it's just under number 6 project assignments to match up.
I saw the project assignments. I didn't see the individual projects. That's all. So I was just wondering. So you know what? I haven't done it before, so I'm fine. I don't mind doing it. I can actually get different people in our office to give me information on the trails, and especially if you're talking grants and things like that. So,
That'd be great.
so I am happily volunteering for that.
Okay, so we'll put you for that one.
Thanks, Sandy.
Yeah, thanks for
Appreciate
stepping
it.
up, Sandy.
Okay.
You're welcome. I think it's the cold and the foggy head, but I'll go with it.
Thank you for keeping your germs home.
I figured that would be appreciated.
Did the Congo do another project in fall meeting and I'm just not
Oh,
remembering it?
it's
Okay,
me.
all
It's me because I got that. I was all like so, and it's from last May,
Yeah, okay.
and for whatever reason,
It was your last
I
meeting.
conflated the two.
He had
the
come to
word
some
I was
meetings
trying to think of
afterward
the
with
other day.
concern,
Conflated.
Right,
and so
I
I just kind of his
it doesn't-
presence.
I was scrambling right before town meeting. What are we gonna do? And Paul's like, "This was approved in May." So it's
I thought
like,
the same thing because
Sorry.
he was. I appreciate he'd come to all the meetings
Yeah.
even if he wasn't on because
Right.
he had concern about the act and stuff.
Right.
But his presence made me also think, I'm like, what is he up for?
That's it's. I'm gonna blame it on no blood flow to the brain.
That's fair.
We've got that fixed now, so hopefully that problem will get better. Okay. Oh, any discussion at all about town meeting about? I mean, it sounded like everything went fine.
Are we gonna do the base report? Is Ken just gonna do that one too?
Yeah.
Because I do have a couple of things on updates. Do you want
I'm
to
still
do that
doing
one?
that, yeah.
Okay.
The what report?
Not a very good
The,
job.
The base
So,
report
I'm
for
not
the
doing a
new
good job,
Upton
but I-
property we
Oh,
got?
yes, yes,
So,
yes.
Yeah.
The Upton,
For Robinson.
Yeah,
Robinson, right. The Upton is still,
Upton Street, I should say.
okay.
Speaking of award letters, though, I know in the spring we talked about getting that up on the website. Is that up on the website?
No,
No.
I
Can
haven't.
we make that happen before December 15th? Thank you.
Timing's everything.
Okay, project updates. Town records.
I haven't heard anything more from them yet. After our conversation with Stuart,
I know that kind of
Last
concerned
meeting.
me. I don't know if
because they
you
are
were gone.
No, I know, I
at that
dipped out
point.
early to go to ZBA, what happened?
That
basically they should be coming out of the town
they should
budget
be
rather
paying for
than.
that.
And they've gotten to records that
For the
aren't real,
archival project?
but they're not really archival anymore. They've kind of done those really old ones, and now it's like a lot more recent stuff, and it just doesn't feel right.
How is it not historic preservation?
Because they're not 50-year-old documents.
It's maintenance essentially.
I'm assuming that there's
Yeah.
a hard
And it
timeline
also
of
went to and I can't remember the word, sorry, that CPC funds aren't supposed to replace town funds. So the clerk's office would have been preserving these records on their own before, or they weren't.
That was, yeah.
They weren't. That was the
And
problem. But we're
so-
caught up now.
If you can't use these monies to do something that the town
Should be
should
doing.
normally be doing without it. This is
Supplement.
supposed to be extra on the top
Yeah.
money to improve the quality of life. And I think the historic records, the original records, but if we're doing the marriage records from last year,
Yeah.
that's something that they should be capturing those projects.
So my thought is they've already been awarded. The town
Right.
approved it. Finish the funds that they have and just
And then be more deliberate if she has another request, and because she'll bring and show us some of the books, but beforehand when the grant application is made, say we want to do the 1852 marriage records or the 1900 town reports, something that shows that there is some age to the project rather than a current. And but he definitely said that some towns don't do it at all, some towns do, but it could be viewed as this is something that the clerk's office should be funding.
it's vague and nebulous.
So it's like a lot of the stuff. It's there's not a CPA police. You have to police yourselves, and then you have to decide what's appropriate for your community. So, but that was good information to have because you see what other people are doing, and you learn that's a good project that we're not doing, or that's a project that we probably shouldn't be doing. Let's kind of let them make the mistake and not us have to recreate a wheel that's a flat tire. So.
I think that training went very, very well. I was very happy
did.
with it. But I was nervous because they're showing that graph with all of the adjectives and it said preserve housing is okay. And I was like thinking like that. I was like, I want to ask about the rental thing we're doing, but I would hate if I asked and he was like, oh yeah, you're not allowed to do that. And
We've talked to them
No, I
before
think
about that. That's good.
I think that
I
is-
figured that would be it, but I was just so nervous.
And there are other towns that have done exactly the same thing.
Excellent.
And I think COVID kind of pushed that to the forefront.
Yeah. The words I was literally going to ask him is preserving a tenant's ability to stay in their shelter. That's preserving housing, correct? And I'm sure he'd be like, yeah.
Nice try.
Gravestones, again, push that off till the spring. North, 95 North Street.
They've been doing some work there. They're putting in the sidewalks along there. I'm wondering what they're going to do. I know we don't have any jurisdiction over it, neither does the Historic District Commission, but there's some beautiful stone walls up towards the top of that street, and there's not a lot of room. I hope they're not planning on tearing down those stone walls.
But that's why if you
Right.
have that as a scenic road, those issues have to be dealt with, and that
Yeah.
part of North Street is not a scenic road.
My
The select board-
understanding
Designated.
is the area that has those walls is considered scenic road, I believe. I
It's not
have a double check.
designated though. It hasn't been designated.
It's right at the top of the street. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought right near the corner of Institute was considered a scenic road for North Street, but I could be wrong on designation there. So
But
if it-
Willard and Weston were added, we added, and all the street signs, if you notice when you drive by, they're not flat street signs. They have a little arch to the top, and it says scenic road. And
okay,
the historical commission, I don't know, 10 years ago or longer, we had a warrant article and added several scenic roads. Part of Brigham Hill Road is a scenic road. There are, I think, 8 or 10 that are scenic roads. Some residents on certain roads that we thought should have been included didn't want it to be included, so those weren't, because there are a lot of roads in town that would be nice to have them designated, and that in this instance would help in terms of widening a road or removing trees or stone walls. So
That street looks so much different now with all those big trees gone.
So
I was-
during the
Go
TA update at the select board this week, Evan said that they believe the project can now be completed within the scope of what was voted on at town meeting. He had found a pavilion at the Big E that was really cost effective that they're gonna try to bring out here, and he plans to come in January to come discuss the project with us.
okay.
Very good.
Excellent.
Okay. How about the the Gallagher rental assistance?
I have many updates. I will consolidate it. We had our annual budget meeting with our financial connection at the state, and he did our budget, and I specifically asked him, we have this money available to us. How do we responsibly request it? How do we responsibly send it to the state? And he pretty much just said, ask whoever is in charge of the bank account. Obviously, no names, just numbers in terms of tenant numbers. So there's insured anonymity, and then just submit it as if you are submitting an actual person's paycheck or a rent check. So that was on our side, legality wise. This is a public program, so he said that was enough to protect us from if a tenant wanted to claim there was some sort of unjust favoritism, because it is a public program and because there are parameters that need to be met. Then we are not liable for certain things we were nervous about. And then I drafted and we amended and approved a actual written policy for us to follow, that so even 20 years from now, this project will continue to run, and even after all of us are no longer on any of these committees, we put it in there. Well, you'll slip you forever. But I put it in once and we wanted to go fast to make sure that with the holidays, this is our biggest turnover time, so we want to make sure we got it in. And since we were so far away from ever needing to request more funds, I figured I'd just go with this. But we have it down in our policy that once that account gets down to 5,000 from 20, whoever is chairman is then tasked with coming before this board with a proposal to refill that account. I figured that was very reasonable, and it would prevent us from having a yearly, coming here asking for however much is in between how much is there and 20,000. I felt like that was unnecessary. But that policy was approved, and now we have everything in place to fully function with that policy in place. Very thankful and very happy that it's there.
And I think
Excellent.
part of the not using the funds was you didn't have rental units that had been repaired to be able to.
Yeah, we had an unbelievable amount of turnover. We had the highest number we've ever had, and it was followed by the lowest amount of turnover we'd ever seen. So it was like 2 years of unbelievably low turnover followed by above average, but that felt so much more monumental. We had units that we couldn't rehabilitate because of, we couldn't even go in them. They were so hazardous. Every time there's turnover in an older unit, we completely flip it top to bottom, but if you pay someone more than 10,000, you have to go out to bid. Going out to bid takes forever, so then you just essentially can't do anything. After a couple state laws got changed, we were able to. Our executive director is incredible. As soon as there were some minor tweaks to state policy for everyone across the board, she was able to get through all of it. But now tenants have to meet a certain level of hardship. It's not like you come in and ask, hey, I can't make my rent this month. And as a board member, we are to have no tenant relations at all. I have no idea what's going on with these people's lives. That is for the staff. So it's, completely under her purview when someone actually meets these things that we have put down, and that's how we're happy for it to stay.
people are leaving units in such condition that you need a hazmat suit to go in?
They are living in those. We had the two were fruit fly infestation and mold, and it's people are living in this. And when I say turnover, I'm not sure exactly what the split is. I should probably ask, but it's sometimes people moving into different facilities, and most of the time they're gone.
They've
And
died.
yeah, and it's time to bring someone in, and we have actually bringing people in. I'll boil that down too. It's a separate program. They spit out what we call a list. It's just 50 people that are next in line, and they go through. But a lot of them are people who, understandably, are in an emergency shelter, and they check off every single town in the state. But if they're down in Plymouth County or somewhere, they're like, I don't want to go to Grafton. So then you just check that off. But it's not as simple as looking and saying, oh, they checked off everything. It's looking, calling, getting the information from the shelter, getting back to them, asking them, would you like to come to this? So it takes a long time. And we have new equity measures. So they look at what percentage of your population is of a certain demographic. And if you're not, being equitable, then they have you pull a diversity list. And, the thought behind it is great, but that's, days of running down a diversity list. And then I think maybe 5% of the time we get someone off of that, and then you have to move on. So,
So many people have found housing elsewhere. They just apply to every housing authority with the hopes of somebody having a vacancy.
maybe I'll get up sooner. Maybe
Yeah.
it'll make me eligible sooner. And like I said, I understand it completely. If I was in that situation, I'd do the exact same thing. So it's only, the slight hardship on our end, but like I said, it's completely understandable. But we I think it's like 30 days. If a unit is vacant for more than 30 days, you get dinged. But almost always, it's as simple as calling our connection at the EOHLC and saying, "Hey, this is why," and they go, "Okay." And the two, funnily enough, the two units that have been uninhabitable, they were like, "No, we're still getting you for those." And I was like, but we actually, and might even be good for us to know, some towns, including Taunton, have staff for their housing authority. So instead of having to contract an electrician, having to contract a plumber, they have guys on staff who can do that. So we were waiting and waiting for state money to go and get people to clean out these uninhabitable apartments, and can't use Worcester. They've got staff for barely enough apartments. And then all of a sudden we found Taunton. They're like, "Oh, yeah, we got guys. We can send them down for you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's wonderful." So
Last time we met, I had a note that we hadn't received the award letter yet for that. Have we received that yet? Can you how do we make that happen?
I'm not sure.
Do we know who?
Because I think you sent, I asked you and you sent her another email to say, could you please return it? Because you mailed it to her.
I mailed
Are you-
Ian email.
Okay, I can talk to her about that.
I'll do it again.
Because, I mean,
if
it's
she
we need it, but
needs it.
it's there's not an urgency because you're not spending the money and it's going to be a while before you do, but it would be good, especially with Beth leaving.
Yeah.
To try to get all these
I
ducks
will get
in
right
a
on top
row.
of that. I'll
Yeah.
get that done next week.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me know.
Baseline report. Pick one.
Well, now there's two of them, huh? Well, the second one's not in
Just-
play yet
right.
because the property hasn't been transferred.
Right.
There's still, they need to send somebody out and collect more information.
Okay.
And it just hasn't happened yet. And I think I just told Rob that maybe I'll just go do it.
Okay.
I'll just go out there and walk out there with my camera and take pictures. And then I'll give them the pictures and then they can put it to the form.
Do the paperwork in. Good. Okay. And related to that, within the last couple of weeks, and here it is, the attorneys for, I guess, the Robinsons, requested and we approved a $10,000 deposit. So the process of purchasing the land is moving forward. So that's
good news.
first step. I don't know why it's just a $10,000 deposit instead of the whole
thing.
enchilada, but
Good little gesture.
that was done. Cupola, William sent an email. The cupola does look great. I guess I emailed him, and we're very happy with how the project turned out. The project has been completed, and the final invoices paid to Olson Company and David King, who's the architect. We sent the draft final report to Mass Historical for review before the final submission, and we're waiting to hear back from them. Hopefully, we'll be able to get all that submitted before the end of the week. And that was November the 12th. So
Did they spend all the money?
no, I don't believe so. So that's something,
Yeah, they had so much funding from the trustees and everybody that I figured we'd get a pretty healthy turn back from that project.
I'll check with William on that. But because I did ask him, and my email has all the, because that was, I wanted to make sure, if the project is ended, have all the bills been paid? And he said yes. This was for our meeting on the 21st.
He said the bills have been paid, all the bills are paid,
Yes,
and so the remaining balance is gonna indicate how much is coming back.
right. So
Good to know.
I'll check with him on that. So that one's finished. That does look good. Cisco Homestead. I'm sure I know the answer to this.
Yes, you've been involved in the email threads on this, John, but they're out for call for proposals for an RFP on this already. We've had the town administrator's office also helping out in spreading the word, as well as the town planner have put out some information to various groups and email lists. And I don't believe there's been any awarding of any proposals yet. And I'm not sure how many have been turned in, but that's the last I knew.
I'm sure that's still in process because
Yep.
Ray had asked for his help getting contractors that did this kind of work, and so Justin and he did his people that he knew, and I don't know, I sent it maybe to William, and so all of them kind of came together with ideas of the municipal register, whatever it's called, another Mass Historical, and so forth. So sent all that back to Ray, and then Ray has used that to do the RFPs. But again, that's been in the last few weeks, so that's like a good month or 6 week process. And I would think with Thanksgiving and Christmas, it'll be January before any movement on that happens. So I think what I was saying is I know the answer to that is they haven't spent any money. So that's they're a ways from starting to spend money on that. So, and we know that, and they also have money from the Historical Commission, Mass Historical, that has to it's going to be spent first. So, but that's good that they're moving on, getting the RFPs done. Okay, thank you. Congregational Church, any update on the painting? Are they still stuck with the?
Yeah, I heard from Andy right around Thanksgiving. So they plan on coming back to us next year, but they're in the process of figuring out costs. It's going to be more expensive. They have to come back with the lift again and go up, and there's more repair work than they originally estimated. They hadn't told them about stuff that was higher up. So they have to really get a handle on how much it is all going to be. But they do plan to come back to us. Probably be in the February timeframe. When is it we normally do our? Is it February, right?
It's February.
Yeah. So
Is at what point is this tipping into maintenance though? Like that's my only concern.
no, this is restoration where this is where there's rot and stuff. And that stuff we can cover.
Okay.
Okay. Baptist Church, that's another finished project.
Yep, and I guess they're just awaiting on a couple final invoices to be paid. I keep getting emails about that. Or do we have any update on that?
Because that was right before Thanksgiving. Because I was dinging Beth and said, when are they going to pay? Because of Thanksgiving, it got delayed or something, a bill. So, because there was also one of the bills, there was something on the back and not. And so I didn't see the proof. And there was not proof for the architect. It just had, really want a reimbursement for $500. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
right.
what is that for? I need to know what's that. So then that got submitted, so you miss another deadline. But all that stuff was done before Thanksgiving. So
Okay.
I would think, because I don't know, Thanksgiving was Thursday, and that's usually when they do checks. So I don't know if they did them on Wednesday or if that just got pushed until the next week.
Well, at least the project's completed. It looks beautiful,
Yeah.
and the final invoices are tentatively paid,
Right.
if not,
Right.
if
They've,
not
they've been
actually paid.
submitted to be paid.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that came in under budget too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, because they did, the project was to do the work at the bottom of the columns. The McGill building, had several of those. I don't know if you guys, I've been walking, so I see that every day. And several of those, it was the same situation that they had huge gaping, holes where they had taken out rotten pieces, and you could see they're just quarters, the rounds that they had fabricated. I don't know where he had them made, but I think those are already done. And that was like, but that's, he didn't seek our funding to do that. But that building is turning around quickly.
It looks nice.
good.
The
Yeah.
paint and the reglazed windows look beautiful.
The nice windows, yeah.
Yeah, they look beautiful. They look like brand new. Well, not brand new. The
Yeah.
glass looks old,
Right.
but the mullions look nice and new.
Okay. Affordable Housing Trust, do you have any updates on?
Yeah, the Affordable Housing Trust met on November 6th. We're still working on the grant agreement for CPC and Affordable Housing Trust. The Affordable Housing Trust attorney, Kathleen O'Donnell, she's the one who actually wrote the template that's on the coalition website for grant agreements, and she's crafting a Grafton specific one, so we couldn't ask for a better person to be helping us with this. That's pretty awesome. The trust sent a letter of support for the affordable housing units on 14 Snow Road, recommending that they include a reduced AMI. And we did our 17th payment for GSX on the 1727 Upton Street. I'm still working with the town accountant on separating the CPA funds from all the other funding, but just based off the grant agreement and how much we've spent on that, all the pool team money is gone. So hopefully that can help make record keeping going forward easier. But it's still annoying. So I'm just getting through the holidays. In January and February, I'm not working anymore, so it'll free up a lot more of my time, which is when a lot more stuff will get done.
Do you have any estimate when you may see a draft of the grant agreement that's being worked on?
Oh,
When
well,
you see a draft?
so the draft that we're working on is the template that's on the website. So I would start
Right,
with
but,
that.
But we need her first update of that because
Right.
there's quite a few things that need to be changed.
So we've talked about a few tweaks that we want to make in our meetings that she's taken note of. Our next meeting is the 19th, but that's our goals workshop, so I don't anticipate it. So I'd say probably after, in January, we'd probably see our first draft. But and again, you guys are more than welcome to attend these meetings. We could post if you guys wanted to do input on that, or I don't know.
Are those within the regular Affordable Housing Trust meetings?
Yeah. I don't anticipate seeing it in our meeting on the 19th. Again, that's a goals workshop. I can't say it won't be, but I'm not anticipating it. If I find out otherwise, I can certainly let you guys know.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just interested in seeing the draft the first draft she prepares.
Yeah, as soon as we get that, it'll
Okay.
get posted in a packet, and I can totally share that with
Super.
you guys.
Great.
Yeah.
For the Upton Street, has that been officially, has a purchase and sale been completed, or is it still in that phase? Does GSX own the property yet?
I think that's in the select board realm, and I think that's still
Because
On
a month
track,
or two
but
ago, there was
not-
a lot of, but it seems like everything got resolved. and
everything's been resolved. Yep.
It is what it is at this point.
Yep.
All the changes have been submitted and approved,
Yep.
and
And all the questions and concerns have been asked
Yeah,
and
so,
answered.
but
And
we're paying all that money for it every time they ask, and they don't own it yet, so it's a little bit like being out on a limb. So it'd be good for them to get the purchase complete.
yes. Yep. That's the goal.
But that's the select board thing.
Yes.
CPA project signs. Wait till spring on that. But I did review the Harwich with with them. They don't have a staff person, so I need to spend time talking to like members of their committee because they don't have like somebody that's working in their office to manage that, which is impressive that what they do without any staff. So, and then the last item is the Lake Wildwood land purchase. Have you heard anything more from in the planning board realm on this, Justin?
I haven't caught anything on this at all on the planning board yet, but I have another meeting Monday. I can ask Fiona.
Because I think this is just kind of, it's in legal limbo because of the family having a dispute over what's the value. So it's,
Yeah, I spoke to one of the members from Upton at our workshop last month about this. And what he says is matches what we know in that it's sort of in limbo. And that there's still an issue of they're trying to resolve whether or not there is an access right for anybody other than the railroad. And everything hinges on that. If there is, then it needs a new appraisal, which will come out a little higher. If it isn't, then the recalcitrant members of the family will have to accept what the appraisal said. But they're just waiting to find out, getting a legal ruling
right.
on the access rights.
Okay.
Can I ask another question, circling back to Beth's departure? Sorry, Beth. I'm looking at our task calendar, and I'm worried about, prepare the CPA or CPC annual report, and that needs to be submitted. That usually happens in January, and then, everything that's going to happen when we're short-staffed. Do we have
Right.
a plan for that?
Before Beth did it, I did it, or Joanne did it. So I mean, I'm used to doing it,
Okay.
and probably that was my concern was, this is a busy time,
Yeah.
this of the year, but a lot of that it's you're plugging in information. So like people that have joined the committee, people that have left the committee. There's
Okay.
financial stuff that you plug in. So it's pretty formulaic. I mean, if you look at them over the last 10 years,
Yep.
you will see there's not a lot of creativity.
Okay.
That's not
It's
that's, there are better ways of saying that.
Well, you do. This isn't a novel. It's just like it's
Right.
basically
There's
just
a
the facts,
format.
Matt.
There's a
a
Very
format.
formulaic.
And
You
the
take
first,
out the old information, you put in new information into the format.
Okay.
And then
And
when you're
it's-
done, you're done.
it's just a matter of doing it.
But it
and
sounds
sitting
like there's
down
no concern. We don't need to have an extra meeting. You don't need an extra
No,
hand.
no.
You got
I
it
mean-
all under.
I mean, if I get swamped, I'll ask. But I mean, I know that that's coming up.
Okay.
And as well as the applications that's gonna start in February as well. And then town meeting. So it's like it gets busy. Even though it's a slow time for a lot of committees, where we
Yeah, like
start
as soon as the
ramp
January
up
1st
as soon as
gets here,
January
it's-
starts. Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to
I
make
think-
sure we were all good with that.
Yeah. Let's see. Does anyone have anything else?
Where did this task calendar come from? I don't know.
This
I've
is
seen that before.
We worked on this for the preservation plan.
Yep.
It's in
It's in the back.
the preservation plan.
Yep.
Oh, it's at the back of the plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's something, that I had kind of a spreadsheet. Joanne added stuff because of just what she did, and then the consultant helped us as well, kind of tweak it because a lot of it had specific dates, and we put in instead of specific dates like the 15th, we put first Monday or third Monday, or whatever, because for whatever reason she felt that was that made more sense. So. And it's not hard and fast. I mean, some of it is. It's like our deadline for applications, but a lot of the things are. It's just to
We might want to go through and update this. One, so that everybody on the committee is familiar with it, and two, we're changing how we do the affordable housing. It's just one thing on here that changed. So we might want to you know, just give it a little update. It's been a couple years, so.
Okay, so, if you wanna send that out to everybody and then.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Then everybody
Just
can,
the plan or the back?
just
Task
the,
calendar.
just page 37 and 38. The plan, page 37 and 38, not the website, page 37 and 38. They're different. I didn't realize that. And that way people can look at it, and if you have additions, comments, we don't do that anymore, we shouldn't do that anymore.
Or we do it differently now.
Right, that we can update this, because that's also something that it says for us to do in December. Update the CPC plan, third Monday.
Look at us, we're ahead of schedule. We're so good.
So
Move to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn
Second.
Second, yeah.
at 7:54.
Aye.
Nope, that, I'm ahead of you on this one. Jack,
Hi.
Colleen.
Aye.
Ken.
Aye.
John, aye. Paul.
Throw it out.
Justin
Aye.
and Sandy.
Yes.
Motion carried, unanimous. We are adjourned. And it's not even 8 o'clock.